We ready, Jake?
Welcome back to MMA Underground, your favorite part of Wednesday. I'm one half the dynamic duo known as Buddy V, with the one and only
Sam K. And shit, man, we got two phenomenal guests in the building as always. All the way from Streetbeefs, Dirty South, we have the one, the only, Dennis the Menace back on the show.
Yeah. I'm happy to be back, y'all. Let's go, man.
And all the way from Streetbeefs Scrapyard, we have a newcomer to the yard making waves. We have Water in the building.
Nice to meet you. Oh, yeah. Exciting future.
How y'all feeling?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Feeling good, bro.
It's going to be a fun show. I'm excited, especially because I know that both of y'all are going to be kicking some serious ass this year. So I'm glad to have you on now before you start knocking fools out.
Facts. Dennis, you just made an appearance to the West Coast, man, from Streetbeefs Dirty South. You want to talk about that?
Yes, sir. Man, that was like a real life-changing experience for me. I went out there and I really tried my best. I had a little time to prepare, so I knew I was matched up with a really good fighter over there who is well known. I think he had like a few fights that I hadn't even seen that was on Streetbeefs, so he was definitely like one of the legends out there. I think one of the OGs.
Shout out Mimo Silva. Yeah. He's talking about Mimo Silva.
Mimo Silva, bro. He's a beast. And that one didn't go my way, so I was actually undefeated before I went out there. And then took my first loss, bro. Learned my first lesson, man, the hard way.
Hey, but I mean, there's winning and learning, and obviously learn something, because I mean, that wasn't the only match you had that day, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got matched up a second time, thankfully, so I was really able to like showcase who I was as a fighter. You know, I didn't really feel like I got a chance to really show that in the first one, but it's all in that one moment, bro. That one moment is like very, very important. Oh, let's go. What flavor is that?
It's been a minute. Rainbow Unicorn. It's been a minute. I just had to show the people for the ones who know. Hey man, but let's not be too modest, man, because you went up against a guy heavier in weight and an established OG within the West Coast yard. Yeah. So not only that, man, but to take on that fighter and then to say, hey, I want to take on another fight. People don't do that. You know, people don't travel from one yard to the next to take two fights in one day. So that says a lot about you as a fighter. And just talk to us real quick, man. What made you make that decision?
Yeah, it was just kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I feel like out here in Texas, it gets down a little differently. So along with who I think I am and who I showed and who I want to be, who I'm trying to build myself as, that's what I had to do, bro. So really, I mean, shout out to y'all, bro. You know, and that was another thing too that was really big for me. I got to meet the man himself, Som K, in person, bro. So, you know, I had a lot to look forward to, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity. Like, it's yeah. It was really nice, and I'm thankful I got to show myself that second go round. And he was a good opponent too, man. He was actually the same weight as me, and I liked his style, bro. He was a fun style to be in there with.
Cool. Watching some of the beginnings of the stuff, I was just like, oh, all right.
He had some slick moves, man. He was a stud on the feet. You know, his kicks were nice. They were there.
Yeah, shout out to, I believe that was Wulong. Shout out to Wulong. You put a hurting on him too, though, man. You know, it started off at a slower pace, and then you picked it up and put the pounds on him.
Yeah, bro. I need to stop doing that, man. The first round, dude, it's like seems like all my fights, it's the most challenging one. I'm either getting slammed around or, it turns into like too much of a overwhelming chess match at some points. But if I'm able to get through the first round, then I know I have a good feeling after that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we're watching your fights. You're killing it in MMA. And I was actually gonna ask Water real quick because we saw you do a boxing match for your debut. I don't know what it is, but something about it was just telling me you had more in your arsenal. Are we gonna see some more boxing? You might branch out and you might do some MMA or some kickboxing, Muay Thai.
Well, currently the next fight I'm going to take this upcoming Saturday is going to be kickboxing. It'll be my first time. I was hoping to do like a shin guard assisted for the first time, just to kind of see like how I'm going to gauge out the MMA career idea. But the modified cross guard is now a whole different theory. I'll be doing primarily a lot of it'll be like wrestling, boxing. I'm going to be kind of like, it'll look similar to like Krav Maga or Kali, but I'm definitely going to keep it like proficiently notched in like American boxing. It's going to be a really weird looking tactic. I haven't really seen it used in any championship at all. So it'll be like the first time I'll be able to showcase it live on a streaming platform. So I'm really excited. I really wanted to show the world what that technique would look like if someone had actually achieved it. It's pretty simplistic too. A lot of the time it'll be it depends on how it goes. If my opponent is definitely rushing at me, I'm going to be definitely requiring to. So if my opponent's coming at me really fast, I'm going to have to like spin them around so many times that they immediately kind of like knock back like a train and get stuck back there, where I don't really have to walk much around it, do much with it. It'll kind of just crumble. And then I can kind of pick how I want to like tear that apart. I've been pretty maniacally obsessed. It's been very obsessive in Seattle for me. Been totally out of my mind on this new theory. It's because I can't find anything that's really using it. I basically got stuck watching like online Krav Maga tutorials to find anything that's I'm also too broke to afford a Krav Maga class, but if I could, I would have to somehow advance to like level 3 to 5 or probably 4 to 5 in order to get the techniques that I'm looking for. Like it's that hard to get this kind of wrestling and boxing. It's just too hard. I can't find it anywhere. There's no like online boxing tutorial course. Any boxer that I found online that was using the techniques, they were like only giving like shorts on YouTube. They were in a gym somewhere on the other side of the coast. It's a bummer. They're probably charging like $300 for their time, and they probably really can't give an in-depth lesson on the technique list too. So at that point, I'm just kind of screwed. The two fighters I've been obsessed with the most recently have been Sean Strickland and Khabib Nurmagomedov. These are two fighters that comprehend just exactly how I want to tear it apart. Strickland has like the basis of several of the techniques, but they're unutilized. A lot of this stuff is like very specific. He'll use like a wide arm to block low and high shin kicks. It's very specific. It's not something that you'll notice an MMA fighter in UFC using it, but they don't really focus on it because they're stuck in a pragmatic theory. But with Strickland, it's his primary technique. He'll kind of like bob his forearm at it with a modified forearm block, but he incorporates a Philly shell into it, which I found to be an inferior technique artifice. It was like I basically gave my face to the opponent, and the only thing they're going to do is throw an entire wrestling bandwidth at me. So it's the last thing I want, right? But aside from that, things that were actually extremely efficient about his technique list was when he retreats, he actually blocks the inside elbow. And he'll do it hella fast and very discreetly. He also does a hand trap with both hands on a glove, and he enters on the inside of it to see if he can get any shot running into it. Is kind of how I take it. He rarely uses it. I think earlier in his career he really used it. Around like the beginning of his like late 20s, he started using it. I think would be the correct age range because he's supposed to be somewhere at like 38 to 36 years old now. So now I'm like, I have to basically pick up the pieces from what was left of what Strickland was doing before all that money got in his life. And I got to put that together and make sure this like thing actually drives like a car because it sucked. When I got to the item, yeah.
Make it all work.
Fucking thing blew up on me and I was like, holy shit, this design sucks and it only gets socked the fuck out. And it's like a modified Philly shell, and then you just get beat the shit out of a lot. It was like specifically for like a 6'3" tall fighter with like only like the legendary boy of my dreams kind of character kind of use module, and I was like, there's no way I could beat the fucking machine that he's using because it's a lot of like stuff where you get to be comfortable being an idiot on UFC, you know? But for me personally, I can't afford those kinds of mistakes. So when it comes to like the leg kick to establish distance, which he uses a hip kick as well, I really have to make sure that I'm extremely efficient with that kind of technique. In my like own like street fighting, like self-defense theories, I actually attempt to break the leg. So for this kind of theory in combat sport, I would definitely not even use the kick for the most part. I'm going to take a kickboxing match, but for the most part, I'm not going to throw a kick whatsoever. I just want to demonstrate that I can literally rotate and compress my opponent in so many dimensions that they can't even throw a punch. And when they throw them, I want to make sure that their entire defense style drops into the ground. Like I don't want it to even like similar to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu where you take your single or your double leg and you compress your target and you get like down on them and you make sure that their whole energy wave drops into the floor and flushes out into the ground. I'm going to be doing that at standing, which is like rarely ever seen. It's not something you would see. Only Krav Maga, Kung Fu would be using that kind of technique base. Unless we find like a good case in point scenario where karate does it, but it's hard to find that online. But I'll be definitely showcasing, and it's going to be awesome.
it's a whole lot of trial and error in this fight game.
Yeah.
And, you know, as each individual fighter, we have our own path and our own bodies and stuff. I wanted to switch back over to Dennis. You as well, you've been doing MMA in and outside of Streetbeefs. I wanted to get your take on a few of the smoker events that you've done outside of Dirty South and West Coast.
Yeah, I've had probably one mixed martial arts fight outside of Streetbeefs. You know, to what I was saying, whenever I had that experience over in the West Coast, bro, which was still by far like the best, I think, ring environment I've fought in so far, as far as how organized it was and just the overall like professionalism, you could say. Like Streetbeefs is kind of its safety, like for its fighters, and the overall respect typically that you get at those events. It's like one of a kind, man. So I really trust Streetbeefs because I'm trying to do this for a living, bro. Oh, my bad. I'm trying to do this for a living though, bro, and I'm really trying to get paid for this. So, you know, I'm trying to also self-preserve at the same time. But yeah, I've had one fight. So my whole MMA record now stands at 5-1. But so your fight name is Water?
Yeah.
The other guess? Water. Got you. I was curious, like, what's your weight class?
I'm currently at 157-ish. I might be at 152 when I weigh in. I haven't been eating as much as I need to. And it's a lot of like fat, extra fat. I'm like all extra pudge right now. I just recently got into the gym again, and I'm planning on getting back to my bodybuilding. So right now I'm just taking it kind of light. I want to see how my fights fit in with the weight gain. I can't make any mistakes. So.
Just replying to a comment. Unless it was English, that would be the only subject you'd want to cheat off me on. Not math, bro. Let's just say that. But nah, that's what's up, Water. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm kind of around the same weight as you, so let's see if I can make it out to another yard, or someone wants to come out to the Dirty South, man. Maybe you, man.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about it. Maybe I'd want to try out like Streetbeefs, Dirty South, or try out like Streetbeefs. I think there's 2 other branches, right? There's West Coast, and then there's the other one.
Yeah, there's the OG Yard, Scrapyard, West Coast, and Dirty South.
Yeah, bro. West Coast is in Nevada or Arizona?
We have events in both, but the majority are in Nevada.
Nevada.
Yeah, man. So respectfully, if you ever want to come out to Texas, bro, I'd be more than happy to welcome you. And hopefully we can get in there or something, you know, spar or put something on, man. We'll see.
Yeah, I would definitely love to chip in and take a look at the whole thing. And
Well, I was just saying that's perfect because I know earlier Tank had asked a question. I know we always talk about traveling yards and whatnot, and that was a good. I was actually curious the way he worded it. Is he asked what your expectations or what you thought about the West Coast yard was versus your actual experience? Because we heard a little bit about like the fun time you had, but I'm curious.
Yes, yeah, I mean, expectations. You know, I don't ever try to expect. Man, how do I put this? Like, because I'm, you know, going with the fight and then traveling alone, there's so many unknowns and there's so many like things that could just pop up out of nowhere. And I kind of crash landed out there, but I still made it. So, you know, it was good, man. They kind of, you know, they got to see that Texas grit, you know. It's different. But yeah, compared to reality though, man, it definitely exceeded what I thought it'd be. I mean, like the mountains, I haven't even been to West Texas, let alone outside the state West, you know. I'm really all East Coast. That's really all I know. So man, I love Nevada. It was beautiful. The smoke ranch was great. Like I said, that cage was awesome. Actually, my last fight at Dirty South, the cage was really nice looking, but the canvas was super hard. So like, I'll kind of jump around and stuff, and I kind of like injured myself a bit, a little bit before I fought that fight. Actually, just goofing around, but I had like a bruised heel. I couldn't even walk for like a week or 2 after that fight just from doing that right before. So the cage was awesome, man, and yeah, it was great, dude. It was awesome. I love fighting outside too.
Yeah, they just upgraded the smoke ranch cage, so you came at the perfect time. Decent weather at that, so yeah, you had a good timing.
Oh yeah, and just real quick, I was actually expecting to fight in the sand. Like I had gotten a chance to go back home and visit, so I was training in the beach and just like in my backyard and stuff, you know, over in Florida the whole time preparing. Man, I can't tell you how ate up I got, but
yeah, man, that's something. That's kind of like a good and bad thing with them installing the mats, because I felt like, you know, the guys who train a little extra, you know, the guys who go the extra mile, who train in the sand, you know, they're prepared on fight day. Whereas the average fighter, whether they're training or not, they're not training in sand. You know what I mean? So you already have the edge over that guy usually. And then with the installation of the mats, it's kind of like now everyone's on more of an even playing field, which is fine, you know, because ultimately, you know, what you do in training is going to show up or not. So
Yeah, 100%.
it's good that you prepare for it though, because most people don't do that.
I try to, man. I try to live by what you got going on, Psalm K. Cardio is key, bro.
You already know, bro.
Live by.
Shameless plug. You already know, bro. You already know. Zwellworld.com. 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 Go pick up your shirts.
Run it up.
Shoot, I was saying that's the Menace, man. When you get a fight in every yard, you might have to get like a picture frame. You have a picture in every yard. Bam, 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 bam. That'd be a badass something hanging. Yeah.
That would be badass, bro. For real. That really would be. Yeah, we'll see. I don't really have too many like goals as far as like the OG yard, but the scrap yard, I got to get out there. I think with the OG yard, there's a lot of guys who I watched who I think I want to see in the pros. So I think that's why I don't want to go out there. Like people like Sensation, just to throw one fighter out there. Like, yeah. So, you know, all in good time. But, yeah, Scrapyard, man, like I said, bro, I just love fighting outside and just the look from the West Coast and the look from the Scrapyard, finding, you know, man, come on, bro. That would look awesome. That would look awesome. That's a good idea, though, buddy. I need to do that. I need to print out some pictures or something.
Right? You have it looking everywhere you go. You're like, yeah, that's me and me and me and me. Like, hey, sign it too. Sign it for yourself. Yeah.
That'd be dope.
But yeah, you're killing it, man. I'm excited to see some of these other fights that you do both at Streetbeefs and outside of Streetbeefs. It's gonna be a big ass year. And one of the things I was gonna ask, because I know I was talking to Water about it before, is he was saying you wanted to get about 9 fights in, hopefully before the end of the year.
Yeah,
at Streetbeefs.
Yeah, I want to do like at least 9 fights just to have like a bashingly excellent record. Look, it'd be excellent if I got 9-0. It'd be hilarious. It'd be evil though. It'd be like, so here'd be March, then there'd be April, May, June, July, August, September. It'd be nice to be done before December so I can really like relax before like next year. But right now I'm just kind of, you know, if I ended up having to take like a month-long break for some reason because of some like emergency dental exam or maybe like some other stuff that I have to do that's much more important right now, then it'd be all right. I'd do the Christmas Streetbeefs fight. It's just, it was a lot of stress around that time. I really couldn't handle it. It was like the 22nd came, my ride bailed, and I was going to do it. It was like the best stimulus code ever. And then I was like, oh boy, and I couldn't do it because my ride bailed. Oh man, that shit sucked. I swear it was such a horrible month last year. 9 fights would be it though. Just walk right in and realize that nobody was ready kind of quick. It should be super duper easy.
Well, springtime, summertime, more roster coming up, more people, new people, old people. You're seeing people come out of retirement. So I'm getting back in the cage finally. I'm
gonna want to see like all sorts of stuff. Hopefully there'll be like some really good ones that'll show up. I'm gonna get for like some first timers. They're gonna be coming from gyms or any like really special advents where they were really good when they started training privately. I'm like hoping for the best.
Have you seen the Reptilian Top Team?
Huh?
Have you seen Reptilian Top Team? They come over from Columbia River Jiu-Jitsu. I heard that they're bringing it's his Naughty Nate's gym. I heard they're bringing like 12 guys to fight this time. I'm like, fuck.
Oh boy, that sounds exciting. Hopefully there's something good to be had in that border because it sounds like a real good time, right?
They have a pretty good team, man. Everybody that I've seen so far, it's pretty solid. I wanted to ask you, how did you find out about Streetbeefs Scrapyard? What made you join, and how did you find out about them?
It's been like maybe 3 or 4 years. Like I think like let's see here, like maybe like 4, maybe 6 years ago I heard about it. I was homeless, dude. I was
4
somewhere in
years.
I was like, yeah, I was homeless in Olympia, and I started thinking like, check out these fights and watch these fights, and I thought like, could I defeat these guys? And I was like, maybe, you know, and I was like drinking coffee at Burial Grounds Cafe in Olympia before they closed down the original location and opened up the second one, and then ended up in Tacoma. It's like couch crashing at a friend's place, and they were doing like a mutual aid benefit, and I kept watching more UFC, and I was thinking like I could do like a really, really good job if I got into an underground fighting league. And then sometime around 2020 is when it really kicked in. I was like, eventually it's gonna happen. I'm gonna land in Streetbeefs, and I'm gonna eventually want to like go after the title and see if I can win it. And you know, here comes like 21. I was like having like life dilemmas. I was like, I can't find anything that will like satiate my crave for martial arts knowledge. So around like 22, I was like in like maximum obliteration mode. I was like, fuck martial arts knowledge and destroy my mind. And then like 23 came, and I was like, I think I could actually begin competing in Streetbeefs right now. And I was doing like a food donation. I did it for about 1.5 years. I was like feeding, usually like, you know, I was feeding people over in like the lower Capitol Hill area. We'd get food from like Trader Joe's and like Central Co-op and Ballard Trader Joe's too. Whole Foods. I think Whole Foods was a part of the plan too. And I did that for about 1.5 years, and I kept thinking like maybe I could compete in this fighting organization. Then around the end of around the end of 24, I think, it's kind of when it kicked off. I was like having a long break. I was trying to make like music. My plan is to get like a 3-piece band together. It'll be like a guitarist, bassist, and a drummer. And I'm gonna sell like a experimental indie jam rock band of a metal band. And I wanted to make sure that the album was like timeless. So I spent my whole year obsessively creating the material that I'll eventually salvage and put into an album. And then September came up, and I decided I think I could fit that into my schedule, and I jumped in. 3 weeks before that, I created the modified crossguard theory that I was using. I was just sitting there prodding at what I was like. It was like pretty easy. It's like 3 weeks time, and I mastered most of the technique course. All right, I got to like a solid, stable shape of what it could be, right, to make it sufficient. And then I was like, I think I can enter in there and defeat most of the opponents that I'll go against. And I took the boxing match, and I assumed I was going to go against like probably, since I was at level 1 or level 2 is what I signed up to be. I thought I was going to go against a level 3 or a level 4. So I was like prepared for a way more fierce match, and I was going to immediately like attempt to like dissemble a level 3 or level 4. I was like, I expect myself to make it somewhere around 10 minutes without really being winded at all. At the most, maybe a lip cut. And then instead I got a level 1, and I was like, oh, all right, I'll like OG you in and do it easy, make it easy, nice little pizza. So now I'm like, I'm expecting like something hard for this one. I'm thinking maybe like a level 3 will pop up at the least. Something hard. It'll be like
what do you rank yourself as?
For the techniques that I'm using, I honestly would have been ready to compete against a level 3 or 4,
When you sign up, what do you sign up as?
Level 2, because I have only 2 years MMA gym training. I'm still at white belt. I've had no other professional competitions, and that's kind of all. That's it for my martial arts background. I just get what to do. I just don't have anything in my resume, though. I'm all that guy. Yeah.
And that's why we're all here. I think you have fun, build it up, and we're at the perfect platform. I mean, how many people from the West Coast went to Power Slap? We have guys that went to BKFC. I mean, look at the Dirty South leader Cody Beck, a Nazi native. He's done all sorts of different fight events on a pro level. I mean, the exposure you could get is crazy. So if you really know how to make it work, I mean, yeah, the possibilities are endless.
Right.
And I was curious because I was gonna ask Dennis the Menace. May 24th the next Dirty South event, or
May 24th? Yeah, bro. And then there's gonna
finally.
Man, I'm hoping there's gonna be 2 fights scheduled for me. Not at the same event. I just don't know when the second one will be. If it's gonna be first or after. So May 24th is the confirmed one. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Nice. Is it going to be a different location, or is it going to be same location as last event?
I think it's going to be in a different one. The last one was a little closer to where I live, farther up in like mid-North Texas, and this event's going to be down south, like in San Antonio.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was curious. You had mentioned your experience on the West Coast and how it was different from your experiences in Streetbeefs Dirty South. I was curious, can you elaborate a little bit more about how a Dirty South event is ran? Because for the majority of the Streetbeefs community, we don't really see a lot of media coverage because you guys have so few events throughout the year. So I'm just curious for everyone to know, how does a Dirty South event go typically?
So we, just like all the other kind of Streetbeefs branches, we kind of have a like group chat. All right, these guys, the consistent ones like myself, shout out to House of Hands, man, my fight team, bro. We're kind of the heart of the Dirty South. You know, we go in there and we take over, man, you know, but it's a house at the end of the day, so everybody's welcome to us. And we try to make everyone feel at home, man. There's myself, the guy who I started the team with, Kevin. For example, one of the things that happens, like you said, was media coverage. Like, that's the biggest thing, you know. We need constant, now it's like YouTube shorts. We need, you know, clips. We need the fight videos. You know, thankfully we have shows like this where, you know, for reference, back in the day, Patrick Turtle Griffin, he's a boxer out from the Dirty South. He's been on the show before. We get a little bit of love, man, but not exactly in our branch, if that makes sense. We just need a little more love as far as like the videos go. There's fights that have been lost, haven't even been posted. I mean, we're dealing with a different type of heat in Texas, man. It gets hot. And so like switching between phones or cameras, Cody, he actually invested in those Ray-Bans, those like glasses that record.
I remember.
Man, like that was such a help, bro, because he had it all right there. And he had the best view, like that was some of the best fights on video, I feel like. And you know, sometimes like the files get damaged, I think he said, from the heat. So it's just that we still weigh in and everything like normal. We sign the waivers, all that good stuff. We get matched up and everything else, just like the other branches, I would assume. If there's you know, like well-known fighters like myself now or some other guys on my team. Shout out to B-Luck. His real name's Trey. and he's the boxing champ in our yard. He was the one who showed out in the San Antonio event that I had my first beef match at. So I was boxing that fight, and then he fought at that same event, bro. And the fight from the last event that he had defending his belt didn't get posted. So just kind of little mishaps like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We deal with some of that with the heat and certain fights being lost on the West Coast, you know, having to switch through phones because of everything. So I definitely get you on that. Is finding a location an issue as well, or is that usually easy?
As far as I know, finding a location hasn't been too much of an issue. We don't have a specific one that we go to.
Right. That's what I noticed.
Yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing. But Cody doesn't live in Texas like the branch itself does. So that
explains a lot. Yeah, that makes things a lot harder then.
And he's a fighter himself, like what Buddy was saying earlier. He has a lot on his plate. I mean, I cannot imagine the amount of pressure of thinking about hosting an event for multiple fighters after I have to fight myself.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So shout out to Cody though, man. And thankfully he's getting this one May 24th up. So
yeah, shout out to Nasty Native. I don't know if you know, he was our former champ over here on the West Coast before he
out, bro.
Yeah, man.
And him and this one dude who I would have liked to fight. I think he trains with Cody. He actually boxed Money Meal. So I think they made it to the OG yard too, right? Have they ever made it to Scrapyard?
Yeah, they've been no, they haven't, not to my knowledge. They've never been to Scrapyard. But yeah, they've been to OGR for sure.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have, I think on one occasion they didn't have a fighter for Nasty Native, so what's his name?
Was it Terrifier up here or
No, he never went to Scrapyard. What's his name? Lil Matt. He ended up fighting Lil Matt in kind of like a hard spar.
Yep. I saw that too.
Yeah. Shout out to Lil Matt, because nobody else is crazy enough to do that. That's 100-pound difference.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, because Cody, he's a tough fight, and how he moves for his size is dominant.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And I was gonna talk about real quick about a fight, one of the recent fights you had versus we talked earlier about Wulong. With some of the movements, I was, like Sonker said at the beginning, you could see the pace start rising. I saw these kicks and, you did a spinning back, this, and I'm like, oh, man, this is going to go crazy. But I have to be honest. I really felt that when you connected with the punch, I felt like the dynamic of the match really changed at that point, and I felt him be more hesitant. I was going to say, do you kind of felt like when you actually landed that first, the punch itself, do you felt like that too, or?
Yeah, I mean... it happens, bro. I in all my fights, I connect when one way or another. If it's a leg kick, body kick, a jab, or a cross, and they don't really do the same. They don't have the same confidence anymore. I didn't even land a punch or any strike really on Memo Silva, so I think that was one downfall in that fight.
Dang. Like I said, you learn though, hey, just winning and learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you clearly adapted for the second fight. I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I was just saying, specifically in the Wulong fight, yeah, it definitely changed.
Nice. Now, I was going to go over it because I was curious. Water. One of the things that we do as fighters and, having this platform is we have things that make us stand out. Everyone's got a little something different. And one thing was, man, that hairstyle was dope. I'm all for it. So I was curious. So, had you noticed you had the front tied, but you had the whole back shaved? Do you have like a mohawk or like what do you got? Like, I'm curious. I got some long hair.
I got a receding hairline back here, so I decided to salvage like the rest of my hair, and so I just basically took this portion of the hair and I like shaved everything else off, and when I fight, I put it in a warrior bun, which is pretty inconvenient if you ask me, but you know it's still a pretty good time. I like it a lot. Yeah, I haven't gotten punched on it yet. If I do get hit on it, I think I'll be able to like block over tight and then turn over my opponent somehow, or follow in tight and somehow turn them over. Maybe, yeah. Make sure that they can't.
So I noticed a lot of people pointing that out in the comment section, right? And you know, your hair was very artistic. I don't know if it was functional, but it was artistic. I would say that. But what really struck me once I noticed it, more so than your hair, was the fact that you were fighting with earrings on. So I need to know what was going on in that scenario. And I'm also kind of curious, buddy, like no one in staff mentioned that? No one, ref didn't, like what was going on?
I had my ears taped. I didn't. I haven't worn my earrings, and I haven't worn the plugs for like probably like 5, maybe 8 years now.
So those weren't earrings at all.
No, so it was just my ears were clamped down, and then we taped it with emergency gauze just to make sure that they weren't like grabbed or struck or stripped by like glove Velcro or. So yeah, I just had to make sure.
I stand corrected, and thank you for that, because it really looked like long earrings, and I'm like, how is he boxing with earrings on, and they're letting that happen, and his ear hasn't ripped yet. I'm waiting for the mishap, you know what I mean? And it never happened. So I'm like, now I gotta ask him about that, you know, more so than the hair.
Boogeyman from 10P. Boogeyman from 10P. He has like 2-inch lobes. He gets his ears taped before he rolls. That kind of scenario is what I would be. I have my ears taped before. There's other fighters. They're hard to find online, but they'll enter a ring or a cage and they've got taped lobes. And it's because they've got big gauges and they have to protect them with some kind of emergency gauze just in case the glove pops the ear or...
Right. No, I get the concept. It just, yours looked exactly like earrings, like, and I was like, whoa.
I think that's what struck me a little bit more too, was you fighting in earrings, bro. But yeah, you said you weren't.
Yeah, I got a real natural lobe. My ears were funny when I was a kid. They said that water would fall into my earlobe and it would get stuck. It was like funny. It was like a mean bullies joke when I was in grade school. So I eventually ended up piercing them and stretching them out. And when I fight, I'm just gonna have to tape them just to make sure that they don't get like torn or anything, because it'll suck.
Ghost, that hurt. That I ain't need that story,
man.
And damn, I was gonna say that would be. It's crazy when I go out in public once or twice. I have all my earrings, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I fight." And the first thing people will be like, "Your ears aren't cauliflowered," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, you know, I protect my face, I protect my head. I'm like at least a solid 7. I know I'm not the ugliest, but I'm not the best looking. I can't afford any other damage. Anything happens, I'm just gonna go down a point."
Yeah. I've been real desperate to not get cauliflower ear. Cauliflower ear is so horrible. I'm just looking for an MMA gym to eventually get back into, but I decided to pick like UFC gym in Puyallup. I was gonna do the performance package with them originally, and then I decided I'll just lift straight for a few months, and then if I've got a little bit more money, then I'll come back to UFC gym, and I'll train privately with their gym trainers. It's just that I really have been really cautious towards the Seattle syndicate of gyms. The last one I had was like, quite frankly, one of the best gyms that you can get into, and it's not that there was anything wrong with the gym. It's just that the provisions rate and my rate of interest and my learning curve didn't mesh well together. It was like I needed like a private instructor who'd like sit there with me privately and teach me the BJJ coursework carefully. Same with the wrestling coursework. And then it was the same with my Muay Thai and my boxing coursework. I had to basically state that a lot of my techniques are very, I guess, like street fighting, kind of karate integrated. So I was much more enhanced for a side kick as opposed to a round kick. So when time came to keep up with the rest of the course for the round kick, I had a difficult time not experimenting with it during class. I was one of those guys who just like honestly had to experiment on someone during class. So I had to definitely decide that I had, like I had a hard time throwing that round kick successively for like a total of 100 kicks, It was like count upwards to like, I think it was 10. And then it was like 1 through 10. So you had to hit like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9, 1, 10, kind of strict, and then count back downwards. And the rest of the class like finished, and I still thought that that was the correct game. I was that strict with myself, and I fucked up and got too mad. And ever since, I've just been like, stuff like that pissed me off in class. So I just basically freaked out, yeah, and decided that I needed like to take a much more strict class where there's something there for, I can't find like the instructor that I needed. It really sucks. I was hoping that I'd commingle with Scrapyard and see if I find some people who want to make the kind of stuff that I need. Maybe I'd be able to make what I need to do, because I'm very experimental. I really do things lazily. I find myself not wanting to do what I'm supposed to do. I want to do like, I get those kind of problems where it's like, we already made the most complex stuff that we could possibly make, so let's just work on sparring for 6 hours. Is kind of my mindset. And I've been trying to find someone who comprehends that kind of problem, that and will have the patience to reorganize that back into like what I was originally supposed to be doing, which was very intensive striking studies, wrestling studies, and jiu-jitsu studies. So I don't have to have like these problems that I have. I have like inconsistencies. So say like someone throws their 3 and I catch it with my back arm, and I'm supposed to immediately pivot out, step in with both feet, and capture the inside arm within that same moment, and then post and enter the head. I'll have inconsistencies, or my body will catch it, and then I'll like trip out. My hand will think that I'm supposed to trap underneath, enter the arm, and then my arm won't reach out and touch the glove. Those kinds of inconsistencies. I tend to count those kinds of things. I have those kinds of problems. Or I like have to not do that kind of stuff to myself, or I get in a lot of trouble. Like if you watch that fight with Evan, I got punched a lot. I stood there, I was like guarding with the cross guard. I saw this extra like 9 to 10 inches right here above my head. So when Evan threw that punch, it just kind of like floofed at me, and I was like, fine. The whole time, mad as hell. Instead of like literally legitimately having like a braced guard right here and watching like the peripheral view of what my opponent's doing, while having a knowledge of having my opponent already placed on my forearm against the cage before I even thought about what they were doing. It was like, I was having those kinds of issues, Plus, when it came to the retreating catch of the inside arm, I lost out on that whole study, completely paring away the elbow, knowing exactly how far that jab can extend and just like comfortably entering it, loading up the leg difficulty of my opponent and successfully drawing it in so I can simply parry it all away and immediately like press them against something like the cage. I had those inconsistencies. This type of stuff happened to me a lot.
So real quick, let me pause you real quick. With that, I want to ask both of you, and let's start with Dennis. Who are some of you guys' influences? Because I'm hearing a mixture from you, Water, and I want to get to like, you know, who are some of you guys' favorite fighters? You know, who did you watch coming up, or maybe it was someone on a show or a game or something. Well, what's your influences like?
Yeah, for me, growing up was like, funny enough, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I just really related with the different elements and how they fought versus like how it made them outside of combat.
You got a comment right there.
I love you too, little sis.
Hey, little sis.
Yeah, let's go. So that was that growing up. I read this karate book that kind of went into like your inner animal spirit, or, you know, like a animal, you know, that you would kind of relate to. And then, I mean, as far as like recently, man, I watched Mighty Mouse train with Rod Tang, and that was pretty awesome. Been catching up on like the Fighter Nerds new little group, but top fighters of all time that kind of inspired me and ones that I really look up to as far as like style and how whenever they step into the cage, they don't change, but it's almost like they're shedding something and they're becoming their true self. People like Connor, John Jones, and GSP, Mike Perry. I love those kinds of dogs, man. So
solid picks.
Yeah.
And Water?
Man, I did it. I did as much as I could getting up in my life. I loved everything. For my family, back when I lived with them, we loved John. Mr. Jones was definitely it. It was like a character a character template that my family was waiting for. They were waiting for like a 6'3", 6'4" tall, perfect Wing Chun MMA fighter who comprehended the works of karate, Muay Thai. I came over the solid fundamentals all the way down to the favorite fat guy stuff and all the best stuff of the future and on. They were definitely that for me. I liked Mr. Gustafsson's style too. Jose Aldo was definitely a primary interest of mine, just like Rod Tang became one too. It's like extremely brutalizing, punishing leg kicks.
Yeah.
Mechanisms like that were definitely the high price moment of interest. I really loved all that stuff. It was good stuff. There's also some fighters that I never really got, like Frank Mir had that kind of style too. Guys who will run into a cage and they'll immediately attempt to leg lock you. I liked that stuff. I'm always looking for somebody who's got a different take on MMA where they just come in, they don't wanna, and they go for like a leg lock or a wrist lock or an experimental guillotine or like a standing Americana. I like all that good stuff. That stuff's really nice too. Or like a Peruvian necktie, just out of nowhere, you know. That's the good stuff right there. A knee bar. Dang, like who else did I like a lot? I liked Gagey a lot. I liked the experimentation of like once you get into like the level that Gagey's at, this is like fast-paced hand trapping, fast low footwork, quick slips, rotating slips, rolls, hand traps, well-priced timings on jabs. If there was even better, Raymond Daniels. Mr. Daniels is definitely the stuff I'm really looking for. If a Mr. Daniels somehow got to that dimension of where that level of weight is at, where they all go up and no one
Who's
gets
Mr. Daniels?
Mr. Daniels is a Taekwondo. I think he's like a several-time world champion. He's holding like several titles.
What's his full name for those who don't know?
Raymond Daniels.
Okay.
It should be Raymond Daniels. He's like the cream of the crop fighters. He didn't decide to take UFC. He decided to do, I think, Pride, possibly. I'm not sure. Trying to remember where he's at. Bellator. Maybe he touched Bellator for a moment. This type of stuff was like absolutely like sharp as shit you could play. It's hella fun. You can learn as much as you can, and then eventually you can get quizzed on it and see if you can pass it. It's really good stuff. If anybody got as good as a Mr. Daniels in TK and karate and then became a BJJ wrestling, they would be the best stuff I could possibly think of. Rufian Stotts, I love him a lot. He's also an endorser of Zero Shoes. It's like my favorite shoe, Barefoot Minimalism. And then there's huh?
I said, hey, I could dig it.
Yeah, right. Heck yeah. And then there's Mr. Patchy Mix, Mr. Mix from Hawaii. And I think he's currently the champion, and I'm not sure what weight class it's in. I can't remember exactly. It was supposed to be Mr. Stotts versus Mr. Mix, and Mr. Stotts lost, which was like a total archaic level of upset for the country as a whole.
I wanted to mention two more people, man, and like it's the worst thing seeing your favorite fighters lose, bro, because you're just so connected to them, man. But gosh dang, man, Bobby Green and Kevin Holland, bro, y'all need, bro, come on, bro. I'm a ride or die, and seeing them go through what they go through.
I swear it sucked,
I
man.
gotta throw them in there.
When Mr. Stotts lost, everybody felt the whole Southwest snap. It sucked. It was like a total nightmare show in Seattle. We were like, where do we go? And what did we do?
So,
sucked. Yeah.
I was going to say, I did have a quick question real quick for Dennis the Menace, and then after that, I got to be the bad guy because it is coming close to, the full 1 hour for the guests. We have different time zones, and, we still got to be respectful and whatnot. But I was curious real quick before you, because I know I was going to ask Samke if you have any final questions. But for myself, Dennis the Menace, when you were at the West Coast, did you have a favorite fight you saw that I should just keep my eyes peeled for? I kind of need to know, so if I see it pop up, I just stop at work and I'm just like, because the last fight you tagged me in was good.
From which one was good?
The last fight you tagged me in with King Up One. Yeah.
Yes, bro. Yeah, I was gonna say that would probably be one. Man, the guy who I rode in with, bro, shout out to El Bandito. That guy, he's a really good dude, man. I think it says a lot about someone who is not only a good person in the cage, but outside of the cage. That's one thing that I love about mixed martial arts compared to other combat sports is, for some reason, man, it feels like a lot less ego in MMA. I mean, that could just be my experience in like boxing is what I'm talking about specifically. But El Bandito, bro, he went over there. He was thinking about boxing. That's what he signed up for. And then he got put into a kickboxing match. And he's a savage, bro. So that's another one. And then one guy who I called out before I went over to the West Coast was Island Strong. And him and Mortem, that one was really good. I think they're the one who started it off.
Yep.
had some fun and experience. Got to meet who 619 was and got to understand how that goes. So shout out to him too. He beat the I think he defended his belt, or did he
No,
beat?
he took the belt.
Yeah, he beat the champ, man. So sometimes the bad guys win too.
Yeah.
Well said.
All right, I'll keep my eyes peeled for sure. But like I said, I gotta be the bad guy now. So, Soundkid, do you have any final questions for our two wonderful guests before we have to start wrapping this up?
Yeah, man. One final question for Dennis the Menace. What is your fight schedule looking like for the rest of the year? What do you have predicted?
Oh man, that's a good question, bro. This year is going to be a little different for me, man. I don't know exactly where I lie as far as where I'm going to be living within this next year. There's some things going on, and I know that I have a good amount of time still here in Texas. So I'm looking to show up and show out May 24th. I'm hoping that there's going to be another MMA fight for myself. Before then is what it's looking like. There's a dude who I could rematch in boxing, another underground fight. But I think this year is finally the year, man. I think it's the year that I get my licensing and I get registered as a professional or amateur fighter. So yeah, I'm kind of focusing on that for right now. But you know, talking about inspirations again, Baki is one of them. So, you know, I love the underground field too, bro. So I'm definitely down to show that, you know, sometimes the meaning of a fight is not necessarily where it's held or what the name is attached to the fight. You know, doesn't matter where it is. UFC, Streetbeefs, any other smoker or anything, bro. Everything matters.
Hell yeah.
Facts.
I love it. I can't keep my eyes peeled. And
Hey, well, you had another one?
I was just saying, where'd the name come from, real quick? Water? Can you tell us super quick before you hop off?
Ah, man. I went to my first gym in Ukiah, and I had been a coffee and a cigarette junkie. I was like a cigarette smoker for like 14 years. I did coffee for like 8 years, and then I drank energy drinks for like 2 years. I wasn't addicted to like any prescription medications. I never dabbled with hard drugs much at all since like high school. And it was around that time that I decided to drop everything, and I just started drinking like water. And I tried to get like ice cold water. And after that, I like really started to like think about what it was in life that I really wanted. I was like on a soul search, and I was really depressed at that time. So after that, I just started thinking like water would be a good alias for me. And later on in time, I kept the name. I mean, living in Seattle, I gave my first name to most people, but you know, like in the end, I still came back to it, and I was like, in terms of a name for Streetbeefs, I think water would work. If I was to use like a fight name and it was like given like a display on an online streaming site, I would think like it would look pretty good for like a Royce Water Thomas. So like right here, like Royce Water Thomas. I think that would look pretty military, right? It'd be like a respectable value, just in case you have like elders who are watching. Nothing too out there, just very simplistic. Some guy who just thought like the name Water is kind of the way I was depicting it in my mind. Very like old-fashioned value. Some random guy who was just thinking about water, maybe.
Hey, I dig it, man.
Dope. Hey, well, we appreciate you guys. It was a great show, man.
Thank you guys for having me back on, bro. I appreciate this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Heck yeah. I can't wait to see your fight on my birthday. May 24th is my birthday, so I'll be watching.
Word? Let's go,
Yeah.
man. Come on, bro. Hey, you know my history of fighting on birthdays, so.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah.
That's awesome, man. Let's go, y'all. I appreciate y'all, and it's good seeing y'all again.
Absolute, bro.
Same here. I can't wait.
All right, y'all.
Peace out.
All right, buddy.
Night.
I'll see you on the 22nd.
Water. Heck yeah, I'll hit you up.
Right.
All right, and it's almost time, but not quite yet. Ain't that right, Psalm Kid?
That's right. We got more.
Got too much fun. Not going yet.
Zuel, lifestyle wear for the fighter in you. A movement to show that by utilizing hard work, grit, and determination, you could achieve any dream as long as you were willing to put in the hard work. Buddy V creates his own unique artwork and designs all of his clothing, jewelry, and accessories, taking the time to create every item so you can feel the pride in every piece. As a living embodiment of Zuel's principles, Buddy V fights MMA while staying active in the community, promoting positivity. Whether you are a stay-at-home parent, entrepreneur, or anything else, there is a place for you at Zuel.
Buddy V's Fighters to Watch.
So, you know where we start from the scrapyard. Over here we got Smash Mover. This man has hands. Let me just say, I was watching, he was clean, precise, calm, and he was respectful. And it's interesting because when you hear him speak, you could tell English isn't his first language, which is perfect because all his talking is done with his hands. Holy crap. And on top of that, there was an early release that just got released today. He had an MMA fight. So all I'm going to say is you should check it out. But Smash Mover, definitely something you're going to watch out for. From the Streetbeefs West Coast, you heard me say it earlier, King Up 1. I actually found this, I was tagged in this fight from Dennis the Menace. Thank you, shout you out. He tagged me and I went to check it out and I just thought, whoa, holy crap. I'm not going to reveal much about the fight because you have to go and watch it, but King went up. I love it. You were in there. You had that dog in you. You didn't back down. And even though I saw him maybe like once stumble on his foot, he caught himself, got right back, standing there face to face. I didn't see him give up 1 inch. And let me just say, I would say he had the nice poise to him, that little demeanor right there. Just come on. So yes, King Up 1, the second fighter to watch. My third for the evening that we're gonna see from the OG artist OJ. Now that was fun because he went pretty good in the first 5-10 seconds. You kind of feeling his opponent out, and as soon as he throws his kick, boom, you see his power, and I'm like, oh, it's like that. And then he gets hit again, and you just see him not move, solid as a rock. And then instantly, my eyes were glued to the screen. As I'm watching this fight, I was not disappointed at all. OJ, he is strong, he has a strength, and he's a shorter guy like me, too, and he's about my weight. So, you know, it's fun to see other fighters that were inspirations. Yeah. Those are my 3 fighters to watch.
Nice. Always great picks, as always.
I got to stay up with the
fire. Psalm K and the Fire 5. We're going to start things off at the OG yard as always. You see it. We got Flacco versus Cheese. This was an MMA match right here. Both of these fighters scrappy as hell. These guys went straight into grappling as soon as the bell rings, and it was very competitive. We saw the reversals, and as we say almost every single week, cardio is key. Cardio is key. Cardio is key. We end up getting a beautiful finish, and these men did not disappoint. They gave us a fire fight. Streetbeefs OG yard, Flacco versus Cheese. Moving along, I'm going to move on to Scrapyard. You see it, Streetbeef Scrapyard. This fight right here is between Menace and Tsunami. This is a kickboxing match right here in the rain, and these guys did not disappoint at all. The sparks are flying right out the gate. Heavy leg kicks. These guys are dropping bombs all throughout the fight. Solid combinations, solid pace, and 2 warriors. Streetbeefs Scrapyard, Tsunami versus Menace, firefight. And there you have it. He was just mentioned. We're in Streetbeefs West Coast. You see it. El Bandito versus Soul Assassin in the Muay Thai match that was mentioned earlier. And these men did not disappoint. They put on a hell of a show, a straight firefight right here. And this is why they're on the list. Styles makes fights. These two gentlemen had two different styles, and it made for a hell of a fight. With the shorter fight, getting on the inside, using his hands, using his footwork. You got the taller fighter using his reach and his range to his advantage. Beautiful combinations. Nothing but heart and grit displayed, and it made for a firefight. Streetbeefs West Coast, El Bandito versus Soul Assassin. Moving along, we're going back to the OG yard. You see it. Hurricane versus Triple OG in a boxing match. This was a well-paced match right here. Very competitive between these two. A lot of back and forth, a lot of slips and 1-2s, and a lot of range control being seen. This was a very close call right here. Comment who you felt won. This is a firefight between Hurricane versus Triple OG, Streetbeefs OG yard. And the final firefight of the night, you see it, Streetbeefs Scrapyard. If you're trying to look this fight up, there's the title on the screen. This is Redneck versus Berserker in a boxing match. These men are showing, Berserker's showing that age is just a number. It's just a number. These men are boxing in the rain. It's just water. It's just water. This was a total war right here. Heavy hammers being thrown all throughout the fight. Lots of heart being shown throughout the fight. Great test of will between these two. And definitely looking forward to both of these men stepping back into the ring. Streetbeefs Scrapyard, Redneck versus Berserker, Samke and the Fire 5.
As always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I mean, even though it's fire and we're nice and toasty in here, is it about time that we gotta wrap this up?
It's about that time, man. First and foremost, got to thank our guest tonight. Shout out to Dennis the Menace. We appreciate you. Shout out to Water. We appreciate you. Everyone watching, go check out their fights on YouTube. These guys are hell of a fighters. And shout out to everyone watching, man. Everyone watching live, everyone watching on replay. The people in the comments section, we appreciate you. We do this for y'all. Shout out to Buddy V, greatest co-host. Shout out to Jay, greatest producer. Shout out to the OG Yard, the Scrap Yard, the West Coast, and the Dirty South. We do this for y'all. Overtime Hustling Magazine, we appreciate you. Heart in the Fight, we appreciate you. Zwellworld.com. 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 Go check them out. Plenty of great merch on the site. That's where you can get your Cardio is Key shirts. That's where you can get your Zwell World merch. That's where you can get your exclusive MMA Underground merch. So we're all about love and support. And we love it if you give us a shot. Check us out. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it for me. Y'all trying to check for me. I'm same time, same place every week. And thank y'all.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Zoo. And you guys know that you're here, so you guys get to see it first. I'm dropping this as the spring release. I'll have to make a post and everything. But this will be one of the shirts that you can find on there. You see that? Ooh, that's the original Zwell Jaguar. This is a whole different piece. I had to switch it up for y'all. Available
I like that.
red. Bam.
I like that.
And my favorite part about the release for the springtime, not only do we have the universal male shirts and everything else now, but we're going to have female and children's shirts as well. Starting off with, this is the first women's only shirt. Check it out. You know you like the color. Woo.
Let's go.
Women's cut, all that. And it's the first half of the spring release. So we got a couple other items coming out, but that's not the best part. I'll tell you guys only. So shh. The second part of the spring release is going to be special custom ordered made where I paint all the hats handmade as well. And then on the sweaters are crew neck. They got Zwell World going down the sleeves too. Oh, that's dope. That's all you get to know for now though. But I have too much fun being here. I couldn't think of any other place I'd be on a Wednesday. I have a blast. Samke, I couldn't kill it without you. Thank you very much. And yeah, one of these times I'm going to be making it to the West Coast now because I'm going to have my weekends free. Jay, thank you very much for keeping it smooth behind the scenes. So, we got to try to keep you on your toes soon. Yeah. And thank you all very much for tuning in because you're part of what makes the show too. So thank you all very much. In Jay's famous words, as we always end it, one world, one love, deuces.